It is ah, it's 6:56 a.m. Okay. I did not sleep well. I woke up several times last night, and actually I didn't even go to bed till like 3. I woke up again at like 4:30, and I'm just sitting here, nursing some wounds. I would like to talk about what's been going on in the last year because I've been very vague. No reason in general. I don't like being on this fucking shit. But uh, first thing I'm gonna talk about is my family, of course, um, and what happened there. Okay, so last year, I don't know. Am I talking too quiet? I might be talking too quiet, but last year, uh, Aaron, Aaron said something about a car. When are we gonna get a car? And I said, oh, it'll probably be next year, which is this year. And he told me, God said it's gonna be sooner than that. And I said, all right. And I relayed this information to my mom. At the time, I was speaking to my mom, so I relayed this information to my mom. And a few weeks later, my sister and my mom called to let me know that they intended to give me one of my sister got an upgrade on her car, and they were intending on giving me this car for $1,000. Okay, um, I mentioned it to my therapist because um, you know, those types of things, I already know what it is. It's like forcing me to be in debt when I'm already in debt to her, you know. Oh, whatever. Okay. So, one particular day, I had mentioned how badly I needed a break. Okay. But my sister recently had a baby, so I wasn't about to ask her to keep Aaron. And ultimately, Aaron had been diagnosed with some adjustment disorder because of all of the changes that we've had to experience over the last few years, and specifically in regards to our separation from the other children. Okay, so um, I was struggling because she initially was keeping them, and then like all of a sudden they weren't. She wasn't coming through. There was a particular situation where I had specifically asked them not to surprise the kids for their first visit, right? Their first visit, I wanted, please don't surprise them. They don't need to be surprised. Specifically because Aaron had adjustment disorder, but I had not revealed that to them. I just asked that he not be surprised. He needed to know exactly what to expect. And what did they do? They surprised him. They completely disregarded my request, okay? So that was the first thing that kind of got me a little agitated with them, was the fact that they did not respect that boundary. And then the future visits were just not, they were too far in between. And no shade to my sister because she was with child at the time. So things happen. You get tired, whatever. That's fine. Okay. But then my mother moved back to Columbus. And um, at first, you know, my daughter's dad does not send any pictures to me at all. He sends all those pictures to my mother, and then she sends them to me. And I just found that to be ridiculous. Okay. I don't like this gatekeeping mediator shit. It seems like a game to me. It seems like you're playing in my face, which they are. Okay. So, I mentioned all this to the therapist and whatnot. And my mother starts having more contact with my daughter. And what it seems like to me is, again, they gatekeep. I'm allowed to speak to her a little bit longer, maybe 10 more minutes or whatever. And it seemed to me, you see the tactics of this individual essentially using my daughter as a pawn, because now I'm in more communication with them because they have more access to my child. You know what I'm saying? Now, no one has ever brought her here. Nobody's ever brought her here. Okay. But they have access to my child. So fast forward, we're like in July. They tell me they're about to get this car. I'm going to go ahead and accept it. And the topic comes up that I really need a break, because I really do. Okay. And, well, we could send him to mom. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. He's at the exact age I was. He was just about to turn 7. That's not happening. Okay. I don't trust her with my kid. All right. I don't even trust her with the kids she has access to. I'm not the one in charge of that. So, that information got back, and these motherfuckers jumped me on a call. They called me, okay? And when they called me, my mother confronts me with this, even though this is not a new accusation. It's very strategic. It's not a new accusation. This accusation has been around since 2020. The first time I ever mentioned it, I said to my grandmother. I had a conversation with my aunt. I actually spoke to my mother, but we were actually speaking in regards to the accusations against my father. But she's aware of it. So it wasn't anything new. She just decided she was going to get what I like to call her ankle biters, which are my sisters, to jump me on a call. So they're all on the call. They start the call off. We're talking about the kids, blah, blah, blah. And it just switches to Ashley. Did you say I did X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I did. And I went to go speak on the conversation. Now, this is very important because I've mentioned this before. If you've ever been on this channel and you've ever watched the video to Tito Sty, I speak on my mother having a psychology degree, and she knows what she's doing. Okay. So, talking, and I tell them my account of the situation. And then I go on to speak on my therapist. And I said, I was about to say that my therapist calls this repressed memories, but I didn't even get that far. As soon as I said therapist, my mother interjects and she starts calling me demonic and a liar and a demon. And I need to go to hell, and I need to, find God, and just interrupting with the religious jargon. Okay. And so when she did that, I'm triggered. I called her a bitch. Okay. It just came out my mouth. There was no thinking. After years and years of, you have to be exposed to certain triggers sometimes in order to work through them. And I have not worked through that one. Okay. So she got me, called her a bitch, and everybody, and the phone call just explodes with everybody calling me delusional, a liar. I need to respect my mother. I'm disrespectful, and I need to get off the phone. You called me. You called me. You get off the phone. The fuck you mean? And so a long, tedious back and forth between my sisters. Okay, because one sister, you're wrong. I've heard you call mom a bitch 3 times in 3 years. Yeah, you have. She's also called me a demon 3 times in 3 years. Okay. And the thing that I keep trying to explain throughout this is she stops me right as I'm trying to explain the psychological behind it. Explain to me why she believes that psychology is of the devil, yet holds a psychology degree. That sounds insane, right? You let a therapist convince you? No, actually, I didn't. And I went on to explain that I had actually first brought this up in therapy in 2010. But at the time, I had guilt because what they said, she brought you in. Didn't your own mother didn't want you? Okay, because I'm adopted. So my own mother didn't want me. She came and she brought me in her home, and this is how I repay her. So I very much felt that way when I first brought it up in 2010. Okay, very much felt that way. She took me in. How can I accuse her of such things? But it's real. It did happen. So, after a long back and forth, the car is now off the table. And I stopped speaking to them until Aaron's birthday. And what's up to the real Furious Pharaoh and whoever else is here. Hi. Sorry, I try to avoid paying attention to my chat because then I get off. I'm like, I think I'm ADHD for real. But anyway, um, so Aaron insisted that they come to this party, his birthday party. I threw him a birthday party. We went to the trampoline park. Okay, it was a great day, and he had asked for them to come upon, against my better judgment. But he himself doesn't understand the dynamic, so he has no ill will towards them. You know what I'm saying? So I invite them, and I invited my daughter. I asked for permission from her father and told him if he's interested to work out the logistics with them. And they show up to the party. It's only a 2-hour party. All the fun happens in the beginning. They showed up an hour late and bringing an additional sister. So, I got to go back. In August, when this stuff was happening, it was like late July, August, I had then said, okay, well, since you do not want to research anything, since you don't want to take my account seriously, I'm going to have to remove Aaron from the situation. He cannot see you. If you would like to see him, you are welcome to come to my home, but you can't take him anywhere because if you don't take it seriously, he's at the exact age now that I'm claiming this happened. If he says anything, you're not going to take it seriously. If anything happens to him, you're not going to take it serious. So when that happened, the other sister jumps in and I'm disrespectful and I don't deserve anything. How could I take my child from her when she's done more from the delusion. They continue to say that these people have done more for my children than I have, and that's just virtually impossible. Even with me not being on the scene, I still pay child support. I've paid 8 times the amount of child support in the same amount of time that the other child's parent has paid. You know what I'm saying? I am doing for my children. Can't nobody do more than me, period. What? Delusion, right? Done more for my child. They haven't even seen Aaron but a couple times in 5 years. There's no way you could have done more for him than me. The fuck do you mean? The fuck? Delusion, right? But they have these delusions of grandeur because they are unable to accept the facts of our childhood. All right. So they bring my daughter to this birthday party an hour late. Okay. I don't even greet them because when my daughter's standing here, it's the first time I've seen her in over 3 years. So, of course, I'm going to greet my daughter. We move towards the line. Now, mind you, it hasn't been 2 minutes. And I'm laughing and joking with my daughter. And my sister says, yeah, you need to thank mom because she made it happen. Made what happen? Exactly. Because she's here, but she's an hour late. She didn't get to play. She didn't get to interact with anybody. She went immediately to the table to have cake, and then they left. What am I thanking you for? Okay? First of all, I don't need to be told to thank anybody. I'm very grateful. I don't need to be told to apologize. I apologize when necessary. When I called my mom a bitch, I did apologize for calling her a bitch. I didn't apologize for my accusations because they're true, and I don't owe you an apology for that. Okay? So I don't need nobody to tell me to say thank you. I don't need nobody to tell me to say sorry. And she told me if I don't say thank you, she could just leave right now. So emotional blackmail. All right. So at this point, the party's over. we go ahead and leave. I haven't talked to them since then. Okay. If anything, I think I talked to my sister around Christmas. Aaron had called them or something to show off his new cat because he got a kitten. Okay. I talked to my sister. Haven't talked to my mother at all. And ultimately, as time went on, children pick up on energy. He stopped calling them. That's his own personal choice. I remind him sometimes that he can call them because I don't want to be, I'm not responsible for the rift. If he chooses and he sees that I'm not communicating with him and he's making that choice, that's on him. But I haven't ever encouraged that. I always encourage for him to speak to them. Okay. So that is what happened last year. And I was probably going to come back at some point last year, but I didn't because at this point I'm exhausted emotionally. This is very emotionally exhausting, and trying to give them the, trying to educate my siblings on what this stuff is and what it looks like, and they just, they're brainwashed. They're brainwashed. So, you can't help a brainwashed individual. They got to help themselves. They got to find the information on their own. So I probably would have came back to doing my videos last year, but I just got emotionally exhausted. The one thing that I keep trying to express to them is if you thought that I was mentally ill and I was lying, if you thought that I was really in need of some type of care, the last thing that you would do is keep me from getting that. You wouldn't keep me from a car if you had one to give, if you thought I really needed the help, right? And so these last few videos where I'm talking about accountability and shit like that, this is another instance of them doing this punitive, toxic accountability. Because if you wanted me to get better, you would make sure that I had the means to get better. It's just that simple. But you're doing it this way because you don't want me to get better. Now, not them. I truly believe in my heart that my sisters truly believe, and not even, I think they have cognitive dissonance because there were incidents with our father in our teenage years that I know there's no way that they forgot it. You know what I'm saying? I know there's no way they forgot it. I think they're just in denial. They're in like a state of survival in which, they have to continue to kiss ass. I ain't kissing no ass, baby. I'm done with that. So, I think, I don't think that they are intentionally like, I don't want her to get better, but my mother definitely, father definitely. I've mentioned before where my father like sabotaged my mental health care after I had my daughter and had postpartum. Okay, so they do intentionally sabotage my ability to like get mental health care, which they don't, because I'm gonna walk there if I have to. It's not even that far. I have walked there, but we have a bus now, so I'll just take the bus. But they would make it easier on me to do so. They would make it easier for me to experience like life in a different way in which I could actually do better. So that was like a real big blow because I thought I was going to get the car and I was going to be able to visit my daughter, and obviously without the car cannot visit my daughter, which causes more emotional distress. Okay, we got to keep these people, they have their tactics, you know what I'm saying? They have their things that they like to do to keep you low. Okay, so that was an issue, and it was real rough. It was real rough. So it wasn't like I was moping or anything because I was still doing what I needed to do. I've still been, you know, getting therapy, doing what it is I need to do. But then there came another issue. Like this, like that, like this, like that. I can't remember the name of the video, but I think it was something to that extent. It was definitely a G thing. Ain't nothing but a G thing. Lyrics was the title. like this, like that. And I think is the name of the video, but talked about an individual in that video. I did not stop dealing with that individual. And it seemed like it was going well at first, but recently, um, I found out that that individual I found out that individual had never been tested for what I thought. You know, I was taking accountability for what I thought I had done to this individual, and they actually had never gotten tested. And kind of find out this year they don't have it. So I've been spiraling because that shit really like fucked me up. Okay, I've been spiraling, um, and trying to deal with it, and I'm not dealing with it well. And then, uh, yesterday, I got into it with one of my neighbors. I've never done that before with any neighbor. Like, you'll never catch me yelling at people for anything, but she's been picking on Aaron for 3 years. 3 summers she's been picking on Aaron. And yesterday, I had it because I had already addressed it with her 3 times. Okay. Um, the tactics of trying to get you to explode and look like the bad guy is just like out of control right now. It's been happening most of the time I manage because there was also an incident earlier this year with my daughter's dad. Something about I sent an iPad over there after I'd already expressed how it was supposed to go, and we had already agreed. I sent the iPad, then he was acting like he wasn't gonna help with the iPad, but we already discussed it, so that pissed me off. I started getting upset on the call, so he stops calls. He says he's gonna stop calls for 1 week. Okay, he said he's gonna stop calls for 1 week. He ended up stopping the calls for 2 weeks. Okay. No communication, nothing. These fucking tactics, right? They just keep fucking doing shit. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So that happened. I finally tried to go for child support for Aaron's dad. Okay. I mentioned this not too long ago, but cause in light of Halle Bailey, her situation and him acting like he didn't know there was a restraining order, he's also done the same. So we get the child support order. He does his objection and he says there is no other cases. There is no restraining order. I mean, the restraining order is no longer a thing, but saying that it never existed, like just watching people having no problem with lying in a court of law is just very triggering. I'm very beside myself. Like, whoa, bro. Here you go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There you go. He gonna find out I did not put no food out because it's only 7. But anyway, all this shit is just very triggering. It's just like one thing after the next, one thing after the next. I'm a demon. I'm a liar. My son's a bully. He ain't. Okay, back to the neighbor thing. So she has been bullying him for 3 years because her child bullied him. Okay, her child come out, grab something out of his hand they ain't never met before. First time meeting. She grabbed something out of his hand. He put his hand back like he was going to hit her, but he didn't hit her. Okay, but even then, if you're a grown adult, let's say you a grown ass adult, and somebody comes to you, and hold on, somebody comes to you, and they take something out your hand, your reaction is going to be visceral and natural. Right? I ain't never met you before. And you just come grab something out of my hand. You know, like a robber comes, the first immediate reaction is to try to pull your shit back or hit the person. That's your first reaction. That doesn't make him a bully. The fuck are you talking about? That'll make him a bully. Then they were at a birthday party and he tried to squeeze himself between a chair and the child and knocked into her, and she's calling that bullying. Okay, so she's repeatedly threatened physical harm to my child, even though I've repeatedly told her, if you have a problem with my child, you need to come to me. Do not be threatening my fucking child. Now her new thing is like clutching her child like he's a the way I describe it is, you know, when white women see a black man and they clutch their purse or they're in their car and they lock their car door, she's behaving in that manner to my child. and it's causing my child to have an emotional response, because he feels like he's being mistreated, and he is, because her child was the initial aggressor. Actually, there was another incident like a day after they met where he was playing with his toys outside, and she kept trying to grab toys and he kept trying to take them from her because he doesn't know her. Okay, it's very simple shit, but these people be fucking acting like they're fucking ignorant. I mean, well, they're not acting, they are. They're ignorant, okay? These are children. They're not going to have adult reactions, and even then, their reactions are very aligned to how you would act as an adult. I don't know you. Why you keep touching my shit? I don't know you. Why do you keep touching my shit? He's not trying to be mean to her. He doesn't know her. Stop touching my shit. It's very simple. But I instructed him that if he takes his toys outside, everyone is allowed to play with his toys because he's bringing it out for everyone to play with. You can't just pick and choose. Everybody can be included. But that's something he had to learn. These children in his age group, they're the COVID kids, right? They're the pandemic kids. They didn't get socialization. So when he met this child was his first interactions with other children. So that is something he has to be taught. It doesn't make him a bully. And this bitch is running around this fucking neighborhood calling my child a bully when half the neighborhood... There are some children that don't even go outside if Aaron doesn't go outside. Okay? If they find out Aaron cannot play, they go back in their house. Okay? That's not all the children, but there's a select few. They don't go outside unless Aaron's outside. Aaron is a very popular child out here. He has converted some of the meanest people into lovers. Okay? Like, there's a neighbor out here that they claim is like really difficult. Okay? And Aaron has admitted the first time that he met her, she yelled at him. Okay? She brings us cookies and fruit and cards now. She loves Aaron. That's not a... Stop trying to project your bullshit on my kid, okay? So yesterday, she does that snatching her purse shit, okay? But she's being really aggressive with it, okay? We're walking on the sidewalk. I'm actually multiple paces behind, but I see Aaron walk, and then out the corner of my eye, I see her grab her child up because her child wants to follow Aaron. Her child doesn't have anything against Aaron. This woman is just fucking delusional. Her child actually really likes Aaron. That's the funny part about it. Her child wants to greet me, wants to greet Aaron, and shit like that. And she's pulling, you can see her pulling her up, and she's making her walk in the grass. I said, hey, you don't have to do all that. He's not a threat to you. You know, you can just walk normal. You don't need to keep treating my son that way. Your son is a bully. Oh, well, I just went off. Sorry. I just went off. And she running in her door and closing her door and acting like she's in danger. No, bitch, you've been pushing me for 3 years because I've already addressed this with you 3 times. All right? I've already addressed it with you 3 times. I was very calm. And actually, the last time I addressed it with her, I brought her things for her child so that she could continue teaching her child all that stuff. And I've got videos of activity alerts and stuff like that. All that stuff, he's outgrown that stuff. I took it to her. Here you go. I know you're trying to help raise your child, right? Here's some stuff to help you out. Okay? Excuse me. So I've been very gracious with this woman. But I finally lost my shit because this stuff is compiling. This is like a year of being triggered. I didn't even sleep last night. Like, I'm tired of being triggered. I'm tired of it. Especially because I work really hard on that shit. I do not play about that. Like, I work really hard on it. I am constantly reading. I am constantly enacting things. I am constantly transforming. And then somebody comes through and they try to set me back. And they try to set me back. And they try to set me back. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just like, I've had it up to here. You know what I'm saying? I had it up to here. Like, These motherfuckers is wild, and it doesn't stop. And I know for a fact that woman, okay, the shit I deal with, the shit I deal with, that's a video. I am pretty sure she's the one that put that toilet paper with the shit on it, the baby wipe with the shit on it. I'm pretty sure that's her. And I'll tell you why that happened. Because one day I decided to sit down and smoke some weed with her, and she put weed in her child's face. And I said, I ever see you do that again, I will call CPS. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. It's against the law. All right. We're not even supposed to have weed in these apartments. Okay. It's a federally ran thing. Even though it's allowed in the state, it's not in federal. So I will call the cops on you. The fuck you mean? And I told her, you want to spank your kid, that's fine. You want your kid cuss, that's fine. You can do whatever fuck you want with your kid in terms of that, because spanking is not against the law as long as it's like, hand on the butt or whatever, right? There's a law that defines the appropriate way to spank your child. Okay, so you want to do that, and you say you don't care what people think, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You think it's okay for your kid to cuss? I don't have a problem with that. That's your kid, not mine. You know what I'm saying? If you let your kid call you a bitch, okay, whatever. But that's against the law. Okay, having your kids sniff weed and putting shit in their face, that's against the law, and I just watched you do it. So if I ever see you do it again, I'll call CPS on you. So she retaliated by putting shit on my fucking doorstep. like I'm pretty sure it was her, because that incident happened very shortly before that. And the thing about that too is that she was not like an Aaron at that point, but we had smoothed it over. But then I withdraw, right? Because I don't really. I try to make friends with the neighbors. I have one that I'm kind of rocking with, but the rest of them I had to like separate because they were doing too much. One was trying to get me to steal. They both were, actually, her and her friend. Okay, they're friends, and I was trying to be that other girl's friend because her son was cool with my son, and I thought, okay, if I wanted to make that person a part of my support system, I have to get to know them more. If I have your son at my house and you have my son at your house, I need to know you. You know what I'm saying? So I try to get to know her and whatnot. And one of the things that they kept doing, okay, they were they were like, I think it's Instacart, or there's some type of delivery service where you can order, maybe you order a mop and some food, right? Once you place that order, they charge your card, but then you can add additional items, and the card that's used for that is like I don't know, it's not their card initially. Like, it'll be, I don't know, the Instacart. I don't know how it works, but essentially you can order more stuff and it won't charge your card immediately. So if you don't have the funds, essentially you get the shit for free. I don't know how that works, but that's what they were doing. And they kept trying to get me to do that shit. No. Oh, yeah, I stole this from Walmart. And dun, dun, no. I can't participate. Right? Then I learned some other things about that individual, and I'm like, ooh, well, pause. All right. Now, during the time that I was going through the situation with my family, like in the August, July time, I snapped on one of them. I just got tired. Okay, what their issue was is they had weaponized incompetence. Okay, weaponized incompetence is not limited to men. Okay, it's limited to anybody. Anybody. It's not limited. Rather, it's not limited. Anybody can do it. So one of those things would be, hey, uh, what was that website? What was that? Things that you can go on Google and look up yourself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that shit. I tell you something, and then you come back and you ask me about it again. Then you ask me about it again. Then you ask me about it again. And I done told you multiple times. Now you're using my brain power, right? So this particular day, she actually hit me right in the middle. All right, I said something. I said, "Hey, you can't see Aaron no more," and then the other sister hit me, and she was right in the middle of that. She came in the middle, like asking me something that I already fucking told her ass, right? And then after that, my sister hit me, and then after that, I respond with, "Yo, motherfucker, I can't help you. Okay, we both got brains. You gonna have to use yours." You know, I'm tired of this shit, and I am. I'm tired of people disrespecting my time. Because with her, it was, we make plans the day of the plans, she can't do the plans, and we do this over and over and over again. And I would tell her, like, hey, if you don't want to do it, you could just say no. That would be more helpful to me, because I'm trying to meet people and do stuff, and there's other people that I'm putting off because I'm putting off your shit. And this was going on the whole year, because her and I kind of fell out at the beginning of the school year, but I met her the year prior and started hanging out with her the year prior. So for the whole year, we make plans, she cancel them. We make plans, she cancel them. We make plans, she cancel them, right? And so she had just canceled something, and then she come and hit me with the, hey, what was that you showed me, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. Use your brain. You got one. And if you're struggling to use your brain, go to therapy. And I'm not trying to be rude, or it wasn't a like trying to exploit her issues, okay? But here's my this is how I function, okay? I function in, if I have a problem that I cannot solve, if I am struggling morally, I either find a book or I find a therapist. It's just that simple. Okay? If I'm struggling to problem solve, then I need to get to someone who can help me to build those skills. So simply put, I was just telling her what I would do. Okay? If you're struggling to get on Google when Google is free, then you need to go talk to that lady. She took that as me calling her stupid. And then she told everybody around that I was calling her stupid when I wasn't. I said, you have a brain. We both have brains. You can use your brain. Stop using mine. That's all. Right. So we fell out briefly. And then I was kind of like, she's like, well, that's not fair. You need to give me another chance. And that wasn't the only thing that was the issue. Okay. It wasn't just the issue of her not keeping appointments with me. It was also not including me, not making me like including. You're having a cookout on your thing, and you never like, you wait until I come outside to get Aaron and be like, hey, you want to come over here? Like, you didn't think to, you're not thinking of me, and you did it too many times to where it's like, oh, okay, well, you just don't like me then. And ultimately, she would talk so much shit about the other person and what they were doing. And it's like, hey, wait, I do that. I asked for a cigarette. I go over to there's a free spot in our laundry room, and I'll take stuff from the free stuff. So why you keep talking about her? You must not like what I do then, right? So, it was a compounding of things to be like, okay, this person don't like me. Right? So I invited her to Aaron's birthday party, because I invited her to Aaron's birthday party. She knew that I needed to pick up the cake, and we're in an Uber, so I'm gonna need somebody to stick with the kids real quick while I go. You think? She said that she went to bed late or something like that, and she can't go to the party. After she promised not just my child, but all the children at the bus stop that were invited to that party, that she would be there. Okay. So the day of, I'm paying for her Uber and I'm taking her son. She can't go, but she's going to send her son with me, the party host. And now eventually her other child was going to come and take care of him, but you let me down on the day that I really needed you. And that will be the last straw. That day I really actually needed you. And you failed again. So you're just going to have to. I know she possibly be dealing with emotional issues just like everybody else. That's fine. But at this point in my life, I am no longer like, we're not doing that. We're not being, I'm no longer being graceful for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Ratchet. So I'm no longer being graceful to people who have these issues, because I also have these issues. And I'm not saying that you got to be like me. I'm not saying that you got to be through it. I just got to see some effort towards it, and there was none. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep telling me you can't do something because of anxiety and you ain't sitting on that lady's couch. That's not going to work for me, because I'm sitting on that lady's couch because I also have fucking anxiety. Okay? And I'm on that lady's couch and I'm keeping all my fucking promises and being dependable. So if I can't see no effort, then what the fuck am I here for? You're not going to keep disappointing me. No. So I've gone past the point of being graceful towards people's issues now, where I didn't used to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't used to be like that, but I see now that I have to, because y'all just keep fucking playing in my face. You can't keep playing in my face, baby. You can't. All right. So, yeah. Also, there was a lot of backhand compliments too, like, I wish I had the confidence to wear that. And we're the same size. And you say, I'm too fat for that. So you saying I'm too fat for that then? No. Oh, we can't be graceful anymore. Okay? We can't be graceful anymore. So that too. So between all that's a year of drama. And I ain't be trying to start drama or be in drama. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to. So of course that meant that, and I know that it's upset her or it made her feel some type of way, because your child can't come in my house. And it's not because I think anything wrong with your child, but I need reciprocation, right? If I can't trust you to keep your word to me, can I trust you to protect my child? No. So I'm not about to have your child in my house all the time and then he can't go to your house. That's all. It's nothing against the child. It's just, I can't trust you with mine. And if there's no reciprocation, I can't be caring for your kid and then nobody's helping me with mine. And she actually has help with her child. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that just didn't make no sense. But I know she took it personally. Or well, she should take it personally. You weren't trustworthy. I can't leave my child with you. Whatever. 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 So it's been a very long year, because all this kind of kicked off in July of last year. And we're just now hitting July again. And I'm getting through it. I'm trying my best. But expending so much energy. One thing I told my son, I would like to do more. Okay. I do a lot though. I do a lot, and I do a lot by foot. I gotta walk. I gotta take a bus. The bus system isn't like a metro yet. They only have one bus per route, and so that means that anything you do is going to take an hour to 2 hours to do. You do one thing, and it takes you like an hour, 2 hours to get it done, depending on what time you got to do it, right? So it takes up a lot of time in my day. Whereas if I had a car, you know, I can get a lot of that stuff done in an hour. Like I could get 3, 4 things done in an hour versus 1 or 2 things in a day. So that takes a lot of my time. On top of that, then there's the constantly managing triggers. I spend my entire life managing triggers. That shit gets really exhausting. When I wake up in the morning, I'm begging God to help me forgive these people and help me to stop slipping into anger, because that means that you didn't process it. If you're still slipping back into anger, like I say I accept it, but I still get brought back into anger. It's kind of hard to accept when the process is still going. You know what I'm saying? You're still keeping me from my child. You're still keeping me from my money. You're still like it's still happening. So it's kind of like, a one day at a time type shit. That takes so much energy. It takes so much energy. I'm expending so much energy just to be me. And me is great. Me is great, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So I just was kind of here to update people on what the last year has looked like for me. Not that you asked, but I know somebody out there is curious. You always are. You some nosy ass motherfuckers. Ultimately, though, when I'm not crashing out in my room, I'm happy. We're doing a lot. We have a good summer plan this summer. He just got out of summer camp. They had like a camp through the school, and they only like provide so many weeks for the younger kids, which is fine. Like, this is his first time being out during the summer, so I didn't have a problem with him just being gone for 3 weeks. Now that's over. We about to party, bro. We have a lot of things planned, and I'm excited to do them, especially because this year, our funds are back to a decent amount, enough to do stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm really excited about that, so we don't have to sit around all summer this year. And I'm also in better health. Last year, I was diagnosed with COPD. I cannot recall if I mentioned that because, I haven't really been doing a whole lot of videos. But I was diagnosed with COPD last year. I knew it was coming. I've been trying to quit smoking, and I still have not. Um, but I knew when I first started, because I went to a program through the hospital to try to stop. And I told her my consequences are coming. I could feel them. Like, I know it's coming. You know, I was born with asthma. There was never, it was never a good decision to start smoking because I was born with asthma. Um, so I told her, like, I could feel the consequences coming, and if I don't quit, I'm gonna be fucked up. And when I got the diagnosis, I literally heard it was like loud too. It was like, yeah, because you always need a consequence. You hard head or uh hard head makes a soft ass, right? Still haven't quit. Still haven't quit. But last year, when I was diagnosed, I had to stay in because the weather was just so intense and I hadn't had it under control yet. So now I'm back under control. I can breathe, no wheezing, and I can go outside this summer. So I'm really excited about that. Hit the pool, among other things that I won't say, so then you little stalkers won't be all up in my business. I've had to express to Aaron several times, like, hey, man, you cannot keep telling people what our plans are. You can't do that. Like, I get on the bus and somebody's like, hey, I heard you're going. Hey, 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 who told you that? Aaron? Oh, Aaron. Children don't understand discretion. You know what I'm saying? They're just excited to go somewhere. He has to learn that discretion. You got to stop that because everybody's gonna know. But we do have a good summer planned, and hopefully one day, one day this shit'll end. I don't know when. You know, there was a time when I had a lot of faith, right? Like, I had so much faith that I behaved recklessly. I wouldn't say recklessly, but just, less saving, less doing stuff because I was just so certain that God was going to work my shit out and He was going to do it today, you know. And so that level of faith has definitely diminished to I don't know when. I don't know when. It'll end eventually. I don't know when. It'll get better. I don't even say it'll get. Somebody told me the other day, oh, it gets better. Or like, maybe. Somebody said, oh, you got this. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. You got this. You got this. It'll be all right. You got this. No, I don't got this. I don't. Okay. At one point, I might have almost had it, but I ain't never had it. I ain't never had it, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I stopped caring. I stopped caring. I don't got it. I don't got it. I ain't even figured out if I was gonna go to. Oh, my cat's making a mess. I know. There might have been a time when I almost had it. What you doing? Come here. Come on. Come on. Aaron. No. Okay, it won the cat. The boy is awake. So anyway, there was a time in which I might have had it. I almost had it. I ain't got it. It's all right. I'm on a video. So just, yeah. So that's all I have to say. I don't have anything else to say. That was a long ass video. Just take the information how you will. But I know, hold on. I know there was someone who commented on they would have helped you if you didn't call them every name in the book. This for you. Have a good day.